I was very active on the HER2CLIMB study, and it was a blinded trial, so it's not entirely clear which patients were receiving placebo or tucatinib, which is somewhat of a good thing. If you can't tell what agent your patient's been assigned to because their toxicity profile doesn't look much different, I think that's a good early indicator. And certainly the data from HER2CLIMB do indicate the safety profile is relatively good with tucatinib. I would project that it will probably be made available. I would suspect the FDA is going to be quite compelled by the OS and PFS data in patients with CNS metastases and give it a regulatory approval. I am hoping I will have it available for my patients who have HER2 positive metastatic breast cancer. This trial was conducted in the later line setting. The median number of therapies that patients had received in the metastatic setting was around 3 in this trial. And so that's probably where we're going to have the most data to support its use. A question's going to come up, however, if we have a patient who's, for example, on maintenance HP in the first line setting, develops CNS metastases. Would that compel one to switch them to tucatinib, capecitabine, trastuzumab, given the CNS activity? I don't know the answer to that today. I think I might be tempted to do that in spite of the ASCO guidelines telling us we should locally, regionally treat the CNS metastases and continue HP. I might be compelled or tempted to switch over to tucatinib. And so I'm looking forward to the design and implementation of clinical trials that will look at moving tucatinib up earlier and look at whether or not we can prevent the development of CNS metastases in HER2 positive breast cancer. Not only were the tucatinib data in HER2CLIMB revealed at San Antonio this year, but exciting data relating to trastuzumab deruxtecan were also unveiled. This was a phase 2 single-arm clinical trial called Destiny Breast. And in this trial, about 180 patients received DS-8201 or trastuzumab deruxtecan. These were very heavily pretreated patients. Median number of prior lines of therapy was 6, and the objective response rate was outstanding. It was over 60%, with 6% of patients achieving a complete response. The median PFS was over 16 months. So to think that an agent would have this level of activity in that late line setting is incredibly exciting. And so I think we're going to be seeing that agent move up into earlier lines as well. The treatment of HER2 positive metastatic breast cancer is rapidly evolving. My advice is to look for studies to enroll your patients in whenever and wherever possible, because we're seeing these very exciting agents that have just demonstrated such profound efficacy in late line move up now into large clinical trials in earlier lines of therapy. Our hope being that we'll push the needle on long-term durable remission in this disease subtype. It's also really important to stay apprised of the news as it comes out. It seems like almost quarterly now we're having big updates from congresses where data is presented that leads to real practice changing factors. And so to be able to keep apprised of the data by going online and doing CME lectures is, I think, critical now in order to convey these new findings to our practices with patients.